So I guess my plan is, by the end of this video, to be riding this thing. This might be the longest I've gone without making a YouTube video in, I don't know, a really long time. I haven't been making videos because I just haven't felt like doing anything. I've just kind of been like a big lazy slob. It's Friday night, I'm in my basement, and I've got a story, and I'm gonna introduce you to my next build, or my next vehicle. The story is, for Christmas, Rob got this sweet Razor scooter electric dirt bike. He won't let me ride it. I rode it around the living room and house, and Lori yelled at me, Rob yelled at me. I have the cruising cooler, which is pretty well disassembled right now, and I have all of the parts and stuff to make a brand new cruising cooler out of this thing. I kind of lost interest in the cruising cooler thing. Number one, I've done a lot of fitting and cutting and stuff, but like, if you look, using a different cooler, I have to build a divider or something inside to make it usable as a cooler, because all the water will just leak out right here. And then even still, I have a lot of trimming and whatever. Nothing's bolted, but it's just a lot of work to figure it out. It's still gonna be 3-wheeled, which I don't like because like it's wobbly and I don't know. So I was on Facebook Marketplace, and for $200 delivered, I got this thing. It's like a Razor scooter, like this thing, but an ATV, and it's pretty beat, but like I said, it was cheap, and I feel like I can take what I have from the cruising cooler projects along with a couple things I bought and make it pretty sweet. And if it is fun to ride, then I'm gonna make it look sweet too. I ordered a bunch of stuff just like to make it a little bit better, I guess. And turns out like ATV, or I don't know, all this stuff is from China and it's super cheap. So like I got these sweet wheels and tires, which are a way more aggressive tread pattern. They just look cooler overall. They're slightly taller. I did account for that in my gear ratio setup with this size tire and the voltage I have. Like this thing should be like a 30-mile-an-hour top speed, which is almost the same as what this cruising cooler was. And this cruising cooler would do like 27, and it calculated to be, I think, like 20. No, I think I calculated this one should do like 31, and it did 27. So using the same theory, this thing should perform pretty good. I guess we'll see. I also bought this set of handlebars. They're a little bit taller. What I noticed is that when I sit on this thing with these stock handlebars, obviously I can tilt them forward, which would help a little bit, but my knees are still really close. I don't know. I think that that'll be good. Got a new throttle. This one has a key so I can turn it on and off and take it away, so like my head friends won't take it. I also got this controller that I believe has reverse. I'm not positive, but I think it does, but if it doesn't, I bought a separate reverse switch that didn't get delivered yet, but it should be here any day. So I guess my plan is, by the end of this video, to be riding this thing. Like, it'll look the same, just have the cool wheels on it and stuff. I'm not gonna paint it or anything right now, but by the end of this video, be riding this thing around. That'd be pretty sweet. Hopefully that's before the end of the weekend. I'm gonna get something going here. I gotta do something because I'm just being lazy. So. Oh man. That looks so much cooler. Like, I feel like I probably should like repack these or something. Maybe I'll do that eventually, but for the time being, these are good. I'm gonna also make like an inventory of all the bolts and put like nice stainless bolts and stuff on it, but for now I just want to see if it's fun and worth putting time and more money into or whatever. So I mean, that looks pretty slick. I want to see if I like these handlebars better than the stock ones, so I'm gonna pop those on real quick. It would be better for this, but I don't know. I just think that that looks ridiculous. Definitely not gonna go with those handlebars. They are way too tall. They look ridiculous. They do feel better on the knees, but no. So I'm gonna go back to the stock handlebars, but take off the old throttle and stuff and put the new one on, and then maybe after the kids go to bed, I'll get the motor put on or something. All right, handlebars are on. It actually feels pretty good with the stock handlebars. It's a little bit close to the knees, which I'm sure I won't like that when I hit. Maybe I'll see if I can get a little bit taller ones, but by and large, this thing is already looking pretty cool. I got the new throttle on right here. This key thing is actually pretty sweet. And this is the old mechanical or whatever disc brake. I actually have a hydraulic one for this cruising cooler that I might end up using right here. It just seems cooler, so if I can get that thing to work, then basically I just gotta switch some wheels. I don't know, I'm gonna go see what the kids are doing upstairs so Laura doesn't kill me. It's the next day, and one thing that is kind of a bummer about having the building is that I moved like all my tools there, so I had to go get a cutoff wheel so that I could cut this bracket off of the frame. I'm gonna do this before Kate takes a nap. I also got some better bolts to put the wheels on. Right now in either the house or at the shed, I've got every single thing I need to put this thing together and ride it. Now I should be able to place the motor wherever I want to put it and then re-drill holes. The only thing that's kind of a bummer is that to line up these gears perfectly, this is like right on the seam. So I'll have the back bolts and I don't know, maybe I might even drill into this with like a self-tapper or something just to give it a little bit more. I'm gonna get a straight edge and like actually do this. I also think I need to figure out this shock thing. Maybe I'll raise it up a little bit or something. So last night I also got the hydraulic disc brake installed and working. I need to put a little bit more fluid in it, but I'm not gonna do that yet because I'm still gonna take it apart and like shorten the line and stuff, but I have the handle up there and like I said, it is back here. I don't know if you can see it, but it clamps and locks that up. The other thing I noticed is that this motor spins back like the wrong direction. I thought that that would be the case just from memory and looking at like the sprocket on this thing is on the other side. So I was testing it yesterday and it spins the other direction if I hook the wires up backwards. So I'm just gonna do that and hope that works. It's Saturday evening and a lot has happened. Number one, my lips are chapped, so I've got the engine mocked up where it's gonna go roughly. One thing that I found is that I can't get this off. I think there's a keyway stuck inside or whatever. Because of that, I can't get this sprocket off. I need to get this sprocket off because this sprocket and this are different pitch. So a chain that fits on this doesn't fit on this and vice versa. So I was able to get this gear off of the cruising cooler. I took the brake stuff off because there was like something rubbing. So I thought that the rotor was like warped. Turns out it wasn't. I just didn't see it. These bolts are too long and they were just kind of grazing the edge, just right there. So I'm gonna buzz those down. So that'll fix that and then it freely spins. I'm gonna cut this so I can get it off. Instead of having the motor here, I'm just gonna slide it out a little bit further and have this sprocket on this side of the hub instead of on this side. And then that way, if I wanna change it, all I have to do is take the one bolt out of here to take the wheel off, and then the 4 bolts there, and I can change the gear really fast. The bolt circle is just barely off for 2 of them to line up. If I unibit out 2 of them, then I can mark on the back side once it's lined up and bolted in. All right, so I have the chain sort of shortened. I'm gonna order a master link. I think it's good enough just to test it out. It definitely is good enough for this, but I couldn't get it pressed back in. I got it shortened, obviously, but yeah. So one of these pins is definitely not all the way in. Didn't have the motor tightened down. I mean, that's pretty solid. That's no bolts, just a C-clamp holding the motor on. Obviously, it's off balance a little bit, so I'll tweak around and adjust that so that it's a little less shaky. This thing's gonna be pretty sweet. I could totally put the back wheels on and ride this right now. So tomorrow I think Laura and the kids are going skiing all day, so I have like all day to play with this thing. I think that is probably what I'm gonna end up doing, which is kind of pathetic, but I guess whatever. It's Sunday, and I was partially lying yesterday when I said that I had everything that I needed to finish this, but now I'm pretty sure I do. I was missing like some bolts and stuff. Everything on this was super rusty and crusty, so I didn't feel right putting like really bad stripped and rusted bolts back in it. The last things I have to do before I can ride it are to put the bolts to hold the brake rotor to the hub thing. I have to drill 2 more holes in the sprocket or whatever, put the wheels back on, to mount the battery, and that's it. Put the body back on, which is only 2 bolts and 2 nuts, and I think I'm gonna stop recording and just like focus and knock this stuff out real quick. This thing, I think, is ready to rip. It's not like safely assembled. I got impatient and I decided that 2 bolts is enough to hold the sprocket on to the axle, and the body's not really like fully bolted on. If it's fun to ride and I feel like I can make it faster, or it's fast enough as it is, then I'll keep it and I'll keep working on it. If not, I'll just let the kids play with it or give it away or something. Oh yeah, it needs a taller gear. Oh, and the brakes don't work. Broke it. Oh, exactly what I thought what brake did, and that is the chain. And yeah, it broke just right where I did it. So I gave myself a goal, which was to drive this by the end of the weekend. I did. I made it from there to here. Not very triumphant. It was super slow. I'm guessing, like I said, because of the size of the wheels. Order a chain, some gears, and this thing is going to be awesome.